like that, because she was trying to say that kind of like the age of Horus type of thing, like it was supposed to denote the age of Horus, like make a connection to that term, because millennium, you know, the millennium means 1,000, so millennium of Horus, something of Falcon, you know, so age of Horus, it was kind of like an age of Horus, Aleister Crowley's Age of Horus, which the Age of Horus is Aleister Crowley self-styled was that man's middle name, so it was his kind of version of the Age of Aquarius concept. So the new Aeon of Horus, and I'm not to present myself as a massive Crowley supporter, but this channel even was kind of named after that concept, you know, the new Aeon 2012. Aeon means age, so basically my channel is, you know, the new age of Aquarius, really, but you know, in a more occult, sort of stylized, classy way, instead of just saying the Aquarian age. You know, I'm more of the occult variety of truther material, so I'm interested in those terms and other stuff. So even the Millennium Falcon has a very, like, there's no accident that it was named like that. So, and while Anakin is also referred to Skywalker in the prequel trilogy, which was hated by a lot of people, but I loved it, apart from the Phantom Menace, which was average-ish. The other two films, I think, in my opinion, were virtually as good as the other three. So but it's nowhere near as often as Luke is. Like you see it, you know, you think back to the prequels. Well, you know, if you watch them again, notice the next time you watch it, take a notice, and it's the instances of Yoda or whoever calling Anakin, just calling him Skywalker. They do. I remember a couple of times they do, but nowhere near. Like they usually call him Anakin. And then again, I've got more stuff. Like I don't think I haven't mentioned this part in the original video. The name Anakin is phonetically almost identical to Anakim, Anakim, M for Mary. And as we know, our primitive subconscious can't really tell the difference between these two words, like Anakin, Anakim. Okay, it pretty much, the subconscious probably thinks it's the same thing. So the Anakim was apparently some kind of race of giants, as a lot of you may know, that were the offspring of the Nephilim. So yeah, the rabbit hole goes very deep, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. So who really knows what Lucas really had in mind when he picked that name, the Anakin name? I mean, obviously, I've just opened a massive can of worms with that one again, and it will very likely need a video of its own at some point, so I can cover it properly. And if anybody, you know, from now on, I'm always going to be saying this. If you got any requests, or you think something that because my ADD-like brain can never stop, like even if I try to write the script out and follow it precisely, I'm always going on tiny little tangents and parentheses here and there. Video ends up, you know, thinking of doing a 10-minute video and it ends up being half an hour long, but nowhere near as bad as before when I would just turn on the camcorder and just record. But you know, if you think whenever I make like a little tangent type of throw a little tidbit there that's not to do with the main topic of the video, and it could be a little you know, standalone video, could make its own little video out of the thing, let me know, because I may like possibly make another one that talks about Luke, the Luke name / Luke, Luc, which means light, which is the original word from where they get Lucifer or Lucis or whatever, which in Latin it's all those things mean light. You know, and that thing I mentioned about Millennium Falcon and Anakim / Anakin. So I think we have another video there, ladies and gentlemen. The more the merrier. So it's just, as long as I have the time and resources and stuff to do it, I'd love to, if I could Now that I'm made partner, I'll just love to do this 24/7. So it's absolutely unmistakable that the entire 6-part saga, and by the way, I can't speak for the sequel trilogy at the moment because it hasn't come out yet. The first part of it, episode 7, it's coming out in a year, like at the end of 2015. So we can't say yet, but at least as it stands, the 6 parts the 6 fantastic movies that we have now. Notice that I just plugged Star Wars there, because I'd just love to promote those films. I'll promote them without getting paid. Everyone should watch these films if you haven't already. Yes, even episode 1, it's still good enough to watch. So it's primarily a retelling of the Isis-Osiris myth, and not that that's necessarily a quote-unquote bad thing, but it was just very interesting. I noticed it was fascinating. I could not mention it. I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I thought, wow, it's just how I am. I'm just a random. I noticed it. I was just watching the movie once. So I noticed it. Oh, God! And I don't remember, because it must have been like 3 or 4 years. I think it was one of the early days. Like I uploaded it in 2010. And I pretty much think I did it right then and there. Like I paused it. I grabbed the camcorder and I started talking. I put some music in the background or something. The videos, that my technology, my movie making technology at that time was inexcusable for 21st century standards, but whatever. It was just it was fascinating. Like these things are as fascinating to me as to anyone that first hears about it. The only difference is that I happen, instead of someone else discovering it, I'm the one that discovers these things. So in the case of my videos, so that's why I make them, and I've got the channel. So yeah, I'd always been meaning to remake this vid, because, like I said, I knew it was very badly made, but my philosophy back then, my MO was get it out there because the info counts, and get it out there sooner the better. So back to whether the symbolism is good or bad now. I actually think George Lucas, is one of the good guys. I really do. And he's gained total financial independence from the dark Masonic controlled Hollywood system. Okay. So this then gives him the total freedom to put virtually whatever he likes in the films. In fact, this is not something I just came up with now, just like I was saying before about the Anakim symbolism. I have already planned this. I've half made this video already. There's another video on Star Wars that will break down how the 3 prequel films were mostly designed to warn us about the dark Illuminati's MO of taking over, of how they take over democracies through doing false flags and playing both sides towards the middle, or in other words, the problem reaction solution of David Icke fame, that term. And if Lucas was in on it, he wouldn't be showing us the truth in that manner. I mean, sure, you could say, I guess you could argue that the Star Wars prequels are predictive programming, meaning that they're showing us what the Dark Illuminists are planning on doing to us, which would mean that they're not warnings, but rather simply they're just warming us up, buttering us up to the idea of a global Nazi-like empire eventually ruling the planet. But I mean, we're talking about Lucas here, guys. Okay, so I very much doubt it. I mean, I don't know if intuition is anything to go by, just by the way you feel when you see the man doing his interviews or talking in the commentary, director's commentaries in the movie, in the DVDs or whatever. You can just feel this fantastically positive, this great, Father Christmas energy. He's just I cannot see this guy being in with bad guys. I mean, he would never have shown us that stuff, the way Palpatine / Darth Sidious took over the Republic. Pretty much did a George Bush Senior or Rothschild job on them, being both the leader of the separatists in secret behind the scenes and his public persona as Palpatine was the leader of the Republic, and he pitted the two against each other to create the war which gave him the ultimate power. Okay, and the war basically managed to eliminate all his opponents, the potential opponents to his ultimate dictatorial power. Alright, so this is exactly how the real guys in the real world do it. So Lucas wouldn't be showing, he wouldn't be showing us that stuff, not in that way. He would have done it if it was predictive programming in a malevolent sense. He would have done it in a way where the bad guys are shown as being good, or that they're doing whatever they're doing for quote unquote for the good, or it just would have been presented in a completely different tone and style than it was. A different approach completely. And I'm very excited about the new trilogy, the sequel trilogy, because I'm pretty sure that, almost positive actually, I can bet on this, that they will show a very positive, like it's going, those movies, episode 7, 8 and 9 will be all about the returning of democracy, the democracy coming back, and basically the Illuminati. It will all be about the Illuminati's defeat. Okay, and I'm thinking it's going to have very, very, very overt messages about this stuff. A lot of conspiracy truther type of stuff, underlying messages about that stuff. Kind of very much like that film Oblivion, one of the latest Tom Cruise films. And if you haven't seen that, or if you don't know, number one, I recommend you watch it. Number two, before you watch the actual film, check out Alex Jones's breakdown of it, and a couple of other people there are that have done it, have videos on YouTube on that. But the Alex Jones one is excellent, and it's about 20 minutes, and it's great because it talks about how that film is 110% absolutely blatantly anti-Illuminati messages from start to finish. I feel that the episodes 7, 8 and 9 in Star Wars now are going to have those messages. Disney notwithstanding, it doesn't matter that Disney has bought them out now, and Disney is not going to black magicify it. It's not going to. Anyway, you know what I meant by that term. It's not going to make it. It's not going to twist it around and make it like a negative predictive programming film. Lucasfilm is still retained its independence. It's more. It hasn't been bought out, like outright controlled by Disney. It's more like a merger. Okay, it's more like a friendly merger. So he's still got his own people in the leadership positions that were in Lucasfilm before he even sold out. So it's not like, you can't say he's a sellout and that they've taken over, that the black magic Disney has taken over. No. But then the proof will be in the pudding. We will finally. I may have to swallow my own words. I'll swallow my words when I see what episode 7 will be like. But I very much doubt it. Anyway. And like I said before, as far as this Isis Osiris thing is concerned, please feel free to Google it. Just look up Isis and Osiris myth or something like that. If you don't already know the story, many of you will know it already. And you'll see the similarities. I'm not imagining this. There's no way I'm imagining this. But the fascinating question now, though, is why? Why? Why would he use this motif? As I said there at length, it's not quote unquote evil. Definitely not from Lucas. But what does the Isis Osiris myth? What does it really signify? Is it symbolic of a person's journey to enlightenment? Perhaps. I'd like to think so. I haven't looked into it. I haven't been staying up all night after night thinking, oh my God, what does the Isis and Osiris myth really mean? Why would he put it in a thing? I don't think about this stuff all the time. I'm not obsessing over figuring out exactly why he put it in the film, but I noticed that he did. So that's hence this video. But the little thought that I Sorry, guys. The little thought that I have given it, I would certainly seem that it's symbolic of a person's journey to ultimate enlightenment, to Christhood.